Yes, good afternoon, students. This is CA Rajeev Sachdeva here, faculty in auditing with Board of Studies.
Myself, CA Sharma.
Yes, students, this is probably the last lecture, and in this lecture, we will be handling your general queries. Recall from the first lecture, we started with the company audit, and my emphasis throughout has been on how to attempt, how to prepare, how to basically study company audit, how to study the laws. So this was explained in detail in my lectures on company audit, and on your request the lectures have also been made public. You can go through my lectures, past lectures on YouTube also. Yes, students, after that, in last lecture we covered professional ethics, and again the same emphasis was on how to study professional ethics. So if you really consider the weightage, the number of marks for which the questions are being asked, the number of marks allocated to these two chapters, company audit, law related provisions and professional ethics, I think 30 marks around paper you get in the examination. So far as the balance chapters and essays are concerned, I will be telling you the strategy in this lecture only, and also I will handle your general queries. Before we move further, I just read out the disclaimer.
Disclaimer part.
Students, you are advised to refer to the institute study material, including supplementary study material if any, and other relevant legislations for latest provisions, amendments required for forthcoming examination.
Students, please remember the relevant notified sections of the Companies Act 2013 and any other legislative amendments, which includes notifications, circulars, rules, guidelines issued by the regulating authority up to 31st October 2015 will be applicable for your May 2016 examination, which means any of the notification issued by the regulating authority up to 31st October 2015 which is relevant or applicable to the auditing subject is very well applicable for your May 2016 examination. You can also refer list of announcements which is very well hosted on the website as well as published in students' journal. Well, there are certain queries we have received, frequently asked queries which we receive through email or telephonic conversation. So these are the list compiled here. What are the relevant amendments applicable for May 2016 examination? Well, for this, please refer revisionary test paper for May 2016 examination, where many updates have been given related to your subject, like ceiling on number of company audits has been modified, where exemption has been given to dormant company, small company, one-person company, and private limited company with certain weight of capital limitation. There you have guidance note on reporting under section 143, 3F and H of the Companies Act 2013. There is one more amendment on reporting under CARO 2015. There you will also find Insurance Laws Amendment Act 2015 and many more. Students, please note, January 2015 edition of study material and January 2016 edition of practice manual is applicable for your attempt. Along with the RTP, you need to refer for any change in syllabus. Yes, refer list of announcements hosted on the website and published in Students Journal. You need to refer Jan 15 edition of study material and Jan 16 edition of practice manual for your May 2016 examination. And for any academic update part, you may refer RTP for May 2016 examination.
Yes, students, before discussing as to how to prepare for final paper 3, what is the strategy for preparing final paper 3? We check if there are online queries.
Well, before moving to this online query, first we will take this question on how to preparation. This is the frequently asked query we used to get from email or telephonic call on how to prepare for this paper, Advanced Auditing and Professional Ethics. Please, sir, describe the students on the preparation part.
Okay. Yes, students, this is a good question. This question is being asked to us through emails and through telephonically also. And in our last lectures, we have received online queries on this question also, how to prepare. As you are all are aware, this is a basically strategic type of examination. CA examination is not an ordinary examination, I tell you. There is reason behind this. I call this examination a strategic type of examination. And this is not an ordinary type of examination, because in ordinary type of examination, say in earlier classes, you used to study complete 1 year. 1 year of preparation was there in your earlier classes. Up to 12th class, you used to prepare for 1 year. And students, here in CA examination for one group, you study for approximately 3 to 5 months for one group. So if you devote 1/4 of time or 1/2 time in comparison to normal time which you devoted up to 12th class, so definitely you need to prepare strategy for your preparation. So that is why I am telling you this is a strategic type of examination, because if you are studying for 3 months, 4 months or 5 months, and please remember my recommendation for one group is 1500 hours. This is my recommendation for one group in final examination. So you should study for 1500 hours at least. Still 1500 hours means if you devote 10 hours a day, that come out 5 months. Means 5 months you should study for one of the groups. So this is part of strategy, part of preparation, I tell you. Now if you see, lot of learning is required. Lot of learning is required, I tell you. Especially learning so far as company audit is concerned, company audit, company accounts related provisions, and professional ethics, which we discussed in the last lecture. There are many number of clauses. It is not easy to learn, I tell you. Learning is always difficult exercise, of course. But once you understand, learning is quite different from cramming, I always say. Once you understand the whole concept and then learn it, that is quite established in your mind, gets cemented in your mind, provided you learn for at least 4 times. 4 times learning is must, I say. This is a part of strategy. So students, provisions of the company audit, I was telling you in each and every lecture that provisions of the company audit need learning. Starting from section 139, I was explaining to you. 139.1, 139.2, 3 and so on. Then 140, 141, 142. So up to section 148, you need to learn. Only then you are able to write in the examination. So this is the basic strategy I disclosed to you, that learning is must in case of company audit, so far as company audit is concerned. Secondly, so far as professional ethics is concerned, my same principle is there. I was discussing in the last lecture. I explained you in detail how to learn the clauses. There are so many clauses. If you remember one clause, you forget the other clause. So you have to learn it in a systematic manner. Learning is very must in respect of professional ethics and company audit. And that too 4 times learning. How do you learn 4 times? Say if you are learning on, say if you learn section 139.1 on 1st February. Then second time, this is one time. Second time you learn it on the very next day. Third time you learn after 1 week. Say 9th of February. And fourth learning is after 1 month. So this is the whole. You can change your schedule by 1-2 days, but more or less this is the 4 times learning gets the things, the matter established in your mind. It gets cemented in your mind. Like ABC, you need not recall the ABC. A, B, C, D, E. So similarly, the things are established, sections are established, clauses are established in your mind. And the ultimate impact, I tell you students, ultimate impact is that you are able to write in the examination hall in an efficient and effective manner. In an efficient manner and effective manner. Your speed is also maintained, and moreover your writing skills also improve by learning. So you gain on both accounts. You save your time. Some students ask me that our paper was not finished, we left say 10 marks question and we could not attempt 15 marks question. This will not happen. Once you learn, your efficiency will improve, and moreover you will write effectively. So this is the impact of learning. So learning of the entire course is not possible. I do appreciate on this front. So learning, I say company audit and professional ethics. Besides that, in respect of rest of the course, from chapter say 1 to 5, balance 20 chapters. Now, how do I handle the balance 20 chapters? Balance say 18 chapters. 3 chapters I take on account of company audit. Three chapters on account of company audit. Three chapters on account of company audit and 1 chapter on account of professional ethics. So this is a learning you need to do, and the balance chapters. Now for this for your convenience, it has been divided. The whole strategy has been divided into 7 parts. Standards on auditing and guidance notes, audit strategy, audit of companies, audit reports, CFS, audit of banks, insurance companies, audit of PSU, professional ethics. Part 1. Auditing standards. I will tell you how to study this auditing standard. In this particular lecture, I will tell you. Before moving ahead, I just check if there are online queries. Yes, Divyanshu Chokhani is asking, sir, can you please explain the difference between clause 8 and clause 2 of second schedule, part 1? Yes, Preeti, please tell the difference.
Well, clause 2 is talking about expression of opinion in which you have not certified or you have not checked the financial statements of that particular company, or either your employer or your employee or any other chartered accounting practice, if has not certified, has not taken care, has not audited the financial statements of that company, then you cannot certify the financial statements if it is not audited by someone else who is also a chartered accountant. Well, clause 8 is talking about something else, in which the if you are auditing a particular company and you are unable to obtain audit evidences or sufficient or appropriate audit evidences, then you are also guilty for professional misconduct if you are unable to obtain the sufficient appropriate audit evidences. This is the basic difference between clause 2 and clause 8.
Yes, clause 8. Hope you have understood the difference. Yes, Neeraj Agarwal is asking as to he wants to basically watch previous class on professional ethics. So students, I can say you can watch my lecture on YouTube. So go to YouTube and you can watch my lecture on professional ethics.
Yes, you can search a particular topic on the YouTube and then you will find the lectures.
Yes, moving back to PPT part. Yes, plan of study part 2. Now balance number of chapters. I have told you to learn 2 topics. 1, company audit, and 2nd, professional ethics. Learning is required in case of these two topics and say balance 17-18 chapters, the strategy is basically read out in such a manner: audit strategy, risk assessment, audit under computerized system, special. Now, say for example, these chapters you need to study. Here you need to learn the definition part. Whatever definitions you come across, definition of, for example, definition of internal control, definition of risk assessment, definition of audit strategy, then types of risks, audit risk, detection risk, inherent risk, control risk, and so on. What I mean to say, whatever definition you come across, learn the definition. Learn the points in these chapters, strategies. Learn the definition, learn the points, and the balance material, whatever is there, study in such a manner that you are able to reproduce at least 40-50% of the material in examination in an effective manner. Now, how to study? How do I study that matter? Student, if you come across, say, one paragraph consisting of 10-15 lines, say a 10 to 15 lines paragraph is written in the study material under a certain topic. Now just study, read out this paragraph. Read this paragraph for at least say 5 to 10 times, depending upon the convenience and depending upon your understanding level. You can read this paragraph for 5 to 10 times and then draw 1 or 2 lines, maximum 1 or 2 lines, maximum 2 lines out of this 10-15 lines paragraph. So if you are able to extract 1 or 2 lines out of this paragraph, that will become your brief notes, students. And this brief notes will definitely help you out one day before the examination. So try to learn and remember this 1 or 2 lines, and these lines you are able to write in the examination, and of course out of these 10-15 lines, 2-3 lines you will be able to write yourself also in a different manner. So this process will continue in the remaining chapters, and when you do like this, a big reserve, believe me, a big reserve will be created in your mind. Now the company audit learning, professional ethics learning, and systematic approach, studying in this manner, a great reserve will be totally created in your mind, and at the examination day, you will be able to excel in a beautiful manner, I tell you. You will be able to write well in the examination, and your performance will be, you will feel that your performance is satisfactory. Very good performance would be there. But you need to study in this manner, I am telling you. So balance material, I am telling you, be it any chapter, be it bank audit, be it these chapters are written before you on the screen. So balance material you have to do in such a manner that you are able to reproduce at least 40% of the material in the examination. So this is the whole strategy I am telling you for the preparation of audit paper.
Well, the plan of strategy has been divided into 7 parts here. The part 1, which is the engagement and quality control standards, statements and guidance note. Part 2, audit strategy, audit planning, audit programming, audit under CIS, then spatial audit techniques chapters is included under part 2. Part 3 is the audit of companies, that is chapter 7, company audit, chapter 8, liabilities of auditor. Then we have part 4, audit reporting, consolidated financial statements. Part 5, audit of banking, insurance, cooperative societies, NBFCs. That is the audit of special entities. Then we have part 6, which is covering chapter on PSU's audit, internal audit, peer review, investigation, due diligence, and then the part 7, which is professional ethics. For part 1, standards on auditing, please refer the auditing pronouncements book, which we issued along with the study material and practice manual. Please go through one by one detailed understanding of the objective of standard, why this standard has been created, what is the logic behind creation of this standard. Then only you are able to understand the meaning of standards. 3 kinds of standards are there. Basic standards on auditing, then we have standards on review engagements, assurance. Sorry, there's some interruption. Well, we are back to the slides again. Yes, the strategy of standards, review engagement standards, assurance engagement standards, then we have related services standards. You need to study the standards carefully. What is the objective of creation of such standard in such working scenario? Careful, understand the basic concepts of these standards. Only if you are able to understand the purpose of the standard, you can apply this in your working scenario. Please interlink the bridge between your further studies. Well, very well explained by Rajeev sir for the part 2 strategy, which covers the chapters on audit strategy, risk assessment and internal control, and then CIS and spatial audit techniques. Part 3, the company audit part, where student, please note the Companies Act 2013 is very well applicable. The chapter 9 and chapter 10 of the Companies Act 2013, chapter 9 is covering the accounts of the companies and chapter 10 is covering the audit of the companies from section 139 to 148, which you may get in chapter 7 of your final level. Part 4, the audit report, CFS, you need to refer along with section 143 of the Companies Act and then the standards on auditing 700. Audit of banking, insurance, cooperative societies, NBFCs, fiscal law, cost audit, these are the special topics you need to refer. PSU, internal audit, peer review. I hope these strategies are already followed by the students, because this is not the time to plan for study, this is the time to revise what you have studied earlier. Yes, how to revise one day before examination.
Yes, students, how to revise one day before examination? This is again a wonderful question. And this question can only be asked, can only be answered. This question can only be answered based on your level of preparation. How much well you have prepared, only then you will be able to do, you will be able to perform, you will feel comfort, you will feel relaxed one day before the examination. Believe me, if your preparation level is good. If you prepare in the manner I have told you, you study for 1500 hours for one group, 1500 hours. Learning, as I explained, you learn company audit, learn professional ethics, and learn definition part, learn points, balance material. And you balance material you are doing in such a manner that you are able to reproduce 40-50%, not much, 40-50% in the examination. And you prepare brief notes which you should study one day before the examination. So these two things are very important. One day before, there is no key which I will give you that just open the lock. There is no key in my hand which I transfer you and ask you to just open the lock one day before. There is no such key. So in other words, I put it this way, there is no shortcut to the success, I tell you. So one day before examination will give you enough comfort. If your level of preparation before the examination, 3-4 months before the examination, you prepared well in a strategic manner, and simultaneously also you prepared brief notes. And one thing more I advise to all of you students, that prepare daily schedule register. If you are, this is of course may not help you one day before the examination, but this will definitely enhance your level of preparation. So daily schedule register is a register which monitors your study on a regular basis, on daily basis. This is basically your whole studies are just caught in one register called daily schedule register. You can catch your studies. Your whole preparation will be in your hand. It will not get out of your hands. So students, this is very important. 3 things I tell you. One is daily schedule register, which monitors your studies like anything. And strategy will definitely enhance your level of preparation. And brief notes. So this trio is definitely going to help you out in the examination.
Well, another query is what is the pattern of asking questions in the examination? Well, at final level, 2 types of questions are asked in the examination. One is the straightforward question and the case study based question. Now, how to write these kind of questions in your examination? What should be the manner of answering these kind of questions? It depends what type of question you have received. One is the straightforward questions. Write briefly, write concisely for your answer. Avoid going round and round by harping on 1 or 2 points repetitively in different ways. Like you are writing a particular point in 2 different languages. For example, if you have a question, describe yourself, and you're writing in one point is my name is ABC, and in another point you are writing ABC is my name, then this kind of repetition using active passive languages should be avoided in your examination. This creates a negative impression on the examiner, where he might be giving a negative marking, he might be cutting down your marking even if you have right correct point. So stop these kind of repetitions using same kind of languages for a particular point. Use different points. Reach the heart of the question and explain the major features and matters in a logical point-wise manner and subheadings. If you have time, if you exactly know what you have to write in the answer, it would be good. It would be better if you write a heading to that point and then explain the headings of that answer.
I am interrupting in between. Write concise answer does not mean write short answers. Please remember. We are not telling you in any manner that you should write short answers. You should concise answer here means you should answer the question in a complete manner. The answer should be complete in all respects. From legal point, from law point of view, from essay point of view, from any other law point of view, from income tax law point of view, if it is there. So your answer should be covered from each and every side. So all the four corners, I should say, you should cover in your answer. It should be complete in all respects. And second important point is only relevant answer should be given. That is the meaning of concise here. It doesn't, we are not intending to say you should write short answers. And I am not saying you should write lengthy answers. But your answer should be complete. And it should not be very short, I tell you. It should not be short. It should be a balanced answer. So complete answer should be there, and relevant points you should give you. Irrelevant point should not be considered. Please remember, irrelevant, if you write irrelevant answer which is not in any way connected with the question, then it leaves a negative impression on the mind of examiner. This is what I mean to say. Yes, Preeti?
Yes, continue. Very well said. The length of your answer is actually dependent on the marking of your question. If a particular question is asked for 4 marks and the same question is asked for 8 marks, then the length of your answer will vary according to the question. Try to give few examples if you have any relevant to the topic. Well, these were the key points to be remembered while answering a straightforward question. Now, how to write, what should be the manner of writing in case of case study based question if a particular situation is given? Yes.
Before moving ahead, students, one more important point I will like to explain you. This is very well said beautifully explained by Preeti, and I would like to throw more light on this particular point. Reach at the heart of the question. What does it mean? It means if question is problem based or a theoretical question, case study, whatever it may be, what is the main thing which is expected out of the question? Please remember, in each and every question, there is one core thing, one main thing, which you are expected to write in an efficient and effective manner. That is the heart of the question. So you should try to reach at the heart of the question means you should understand that important part which you need to answer in an efficient and effective manner. So understand, just enhance your understanding and try to reach out at that level, so that particular point is not missed out while writing your answer. So that is the meaning of reach out at the heart of the question. So this is, try to understand what we want to say. So heart of the question means what main thing, what main thing is expected to be written in the answer of that particular question.
Yes, this was all about straightforward question, and now the case study based question. Yes, you need to write the facts of the case in your own language only. Please remember, students, don't just copy paste the language of the question. You need to write, apply your mind and write the fact of the case in your own language. Then you need to provide what are the provisions or explanation applicable to a given question or given case study. And in the end, actually the case study based question, the answer to case study based question is divided into 3 parts. Your answer should be divided into 3 parts. First part is the fact of the case. Second part is the provisions and explanation. And third part is the conclusion. In the end, you need to write the conclusion as per your findings. You may quote like, now on the basis of provisions of that particular law, that particular accounting standard, that particular standard on auditing, and applying these provisions to the given case, it may be concluded that this is the answer, this is the conclusion part. Well, I will explain you with the help of an example here. This is the question, this kind of case study may be asked in the examination. Apex Limited. Apex Limited, a well-reputed manufacturing public limited company, has made a contribution of rupees 2.5 lakhs during the financial year ending 31st March 2016. Now, to whom it has contributed? It has contributed to a political party for running a school, which is situated in a village where most of the workers of the company reside. It is admitted that the benefit of the school is mostly for the children of the workers of the company. However, the company has not made any profit in the last 4 years. Now, comment. Here, as you can see, a political contribution has been made by a public limited company. Here, the company word is involved and a political contribution is involved, which is based on a section 182 of Companies Act 2013. You need to remember the clause provisions where a particular term is attracted. As you can see here, this is a company and a political contribution has been made, or you need to comment whether this contribution is good or fine or whatever. Then section 182 is attracted here. Now you need to write a heading part, restrictions regarding political contribution. Well, this is not necessary, but if you write, then it gives a good impression on the examiner. Then you need to write the provisions and explanation part, like section 182 of the Companies Act 2013, which deals with the provisions and restrictions regarding political contribution. According to this section, a government company or any other company which has been in existence for less than 3 financial years cannot contribute any amount directly or indirectly to any political party. Now, what does this line is actually talking about is this: a non-government company, or should I say a government company or any other company which has not been in existence for less than in existence for less than 3 financial years, then these type of companies are not allowed to contribute to a political party, which means any non-government company who is in existence for 3 years or more than 3 financial years, then only you can contribute to a political party. Now there is another one restriction, that the contribution shall not exceed 7.5% of average net profit during the 3 preceding financial years. This is the provision and explanation part you need to write in your examination. Then you need to write the facts of the case, that in the given case, Apex Limited has not made any profit in the last 4 years, and it has contributed 2.5 lakhs during the year to a political party for running a school. Student, as you can see here, the language of the facts of the case has been changed. In the question, it was written, Apex Limited, a well-reputed manufacturing public limited company, has made a contribution of 2.5 lakhs during the financial year ending 31st March 2016 to a political party for running a school situated in the village. And the last line is the company has not made any profits in the last 4 years. As you can see here, facts of the case, the language of facts of the case has been changed here. Please remember, student, use your own language only. Don't just copy paste the facts of the case from the question. And then the conclusion part, that this is the violation of provision of section 182 of the said act, that is the Companies Act 2013, although the children of its workers are benefited. The order accordingly would have to qualify his report stating the contravention of the provisions of the Companies Act. This was the example on how can you present your answer, which is a case study based situation given in your examination. Another query we receive is, ma'am, how to track a particular standard is attracting here, or which accounting standard is attracting here, or which Companies Act provision or which professional ethics provision is applicable or attracting. Before answering to this query, we will move to the online queries if we have any.
Yes, Divyanshu Chokhani is asking, do we have to prepare drafting of audit reports and engagement letters? And in case the same is asked, how should we manage to write given the marks and time? Definitely, basically answer is covered in your question itself. Given that marks and time constraints, this is very good. Students, just try to look at the marks given, marks allocated to the question. If the question is of 4 marks and asking me to prepare a report, then he is asking for that part of the report only. So a part of the report you need to write down. Do not write the full report. He is not asking you to write the whole report. Write down the report in that context only. I do not say 1-2 lines extra, but do not write irrelevant material. And also, another important point which you asked in the question, it is given in the question itself, time constraint. Manage it according to time. Time is very limiting factor, you see. So this is a good question. You need to do, of course, sample audit reports, sample draft letters should be well prepared before you enter the examination, because if you are prepared with those, probably chances are there that you come across this type of questions, because in the past examination, if I look at, questions have definitely been asked out like this. You see, this type of questions have appeared in the examination. And you can go through the practice manual. We have given in the covered in the practice manual such questions. So you should definitely, my answer is yes, you should be very well prepared on these type of questions. So far as these type of questions are concerned, you should be very well prepared. And you should answer these questions keeping in view time and marks restrictions, constraints.
Yes, there might be some question like qualification has been given, like opinion para is given, and you need to comment whether the opinion given or the qualification given is correct or not, or you need to redraft that particular opinion. Then please redraft only that particular opinion, only that qualification only, which should be the correct one. Don't write any other or additional qualification at your own. Only comment on the particular point given in the question only.
Yes, Abhinay Shri is asking, weightage of marks in auditing. Yes, students, weightage, so far as weightage is concerned, you can note down 16 marks question approximately 16 marks question is on professional ethics, and 16 to 30 marks question you get out of company audit, consolidated financial statements, audit committee, company audit related, company accounts related chapters. 16 to 30 average, if I check out, that is 24 5 marks paper you get out of company audit. 24 plus 16 marks you get out of professional ethics, 40 marks. Then students' essays. From past examination, my observation is this, that approximately ranging from 22 to 40 marks paper is out of essays. Paper, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, all are basically essay based. Chapter 4. So 22 to 40 marks paper is from essays. On an average, 25-30 marks paper is from essays. So this is whole, this becomes 60 marks approximately, 60-65 marks total is there. And balance, say bank audit, insurance, bank audit, then NBFCs, then cooperative societies. 8 to 16 marks questions, on an average 16 marks on an average you get out of these chapters I have mentioned. Special audit assignment, you get 4 marks question. Now I think we have reached near 80 marks, and 40 marks question from the balance, say tax audit and first 6 chapters. So this is on the discretion of the examiner, if you see, look at. So this is the total bifurcation. Still, Preeti will throw more light on this.
Well, sir, I think you have already explained all the weightage of marking and auditing. These are very well explained by sir. We will take another query. Sir, that lecture is not available. Neeraj Agrawal is asking.
Yes, I have received the answer from our technical department. You may note down that this link will be available at ICI Cloud Campus. Shortly you will get the link.
Yes.
At ICI Cloud Campus.
You can also go for the channel ICI Cloud Campus, and then all the lectures related to the ICI Cloud Campus will be available there. You can search from that channel. Well, we will moving to the PPT part again. Yes, the very important query usually get confused into how to check, how to track which of the provisions of a particular act, say Company Act or standards on auditing, accounting standard is applicable or is relevant or attracting that particular situation or a case study. I can explain you with the help of some examples. Please, student, refer. These are just examples. Example 1. Look here, this is the query, this is the question. Mrs. RM and Company, which is an audit firm having partners CAR and CAM. Mr. S is a relative of CAR who is holding shares of STP Limited having a face value of rupees 1,51,000. Now, whether Mrs. RM and Company is disqualified or qualified to be appointed as auditors of STP Limited. Here you can see the question is talking about the qualification or disqualification of a company auditor. Now, you need to recall where the qualification or disqualification of a company auditor is discussed. It is discussed under section 141 of the Companies Act 2013. Here you can see the question is asking about the qualification of a company auditor. Therefore, section 141 of the Companies Act is attracted. The exact provision is section 141(3)(b)(1). In this section, the Companies Act is explaining or providing disqualification of a company auditor. This is how you can relate your question and then provide your answer like this. Here in para 1 is explaining the provisions part. Provision and explanation. First, you need to write the provision and explanation, which is attracting the case study. Then you have to write the facts of the case, and then the conclusion. This is how you need to write your answer in the examination, student. Please note this. You may refer the practice manual where the presentation pattern has been given. You may refer those questions, those answers to get the answer. Yes, as per section 141(3)(d)(1) of the Companies Act 2013, a person shall not be eligible for appointment as an auditor of a company who, that is the person or his relative or partner of him, is holding any security or any interest in the company or its subsidiary or its holding or associate company or a subsidiary of such holding company. However, as per the proviso to this section, the relative of the auditor may hold securities or interest in the company of face value not exceeding rupees 1 lakh. This is the provision you need to write down in your answer while giving or attempting a question. Then you need to write the facts of the case, like here. In the given case, Messrs. RM and Company is an audit firm having partners CAR and CAM. Here, Mr. S is the relative of CAR and he is holding shares of STP Limited of face value of rupees 1,51,000, which is obviously greater than rupees 1 lakh. Therefore, that is the conclusion part you need to write. Therefore, Mrs. RM and Company, that is the audit firm, will be disqualified for appointment as an auditor because the relative of CAR is holding securities in STP Limited, which is exceeding the limit mentioned in proviso to section 141(3)(d)(1) of the Companies Act 2013. This is how you can present your answer to a given situation. Now, I'll take another example. This kind of case study you may get in your examination. This is just an example, student, please note. A Limited was under audit for the year ended 31st of March 2015. An appeal filed by A Limited against the demand of excise duty of rupees 26 crores was pending before the Supreme Court, for which neither provision was made nor it was disclosed in the notes to accounts. On 12th of July 2015, the auditor came to know through paper records that the point involved in the appeal of A Limited was adjudicated by the Supreme Court in the case of some other assessee, which was in favor of the Department of Excise Duty. Now, the auditor insisted the company that the provisions to be made of rupees 26 crore in the financial statement. However, the management was of the view that since its own case is pending, no provision is called for. It was also of the view that event does not have any effect on the financial position of the company as on the date of the balance sheet. Now the question is asking, is the view of the management tenable? As you can see here, a demand of excise duty of rupees 26 crore is pending. This is a material amount. This is a material amount which may affect the going concern assumption of the company. One more thing is, the question is stating that the company has not made any disclosure or has not made any provision as the auditor is insisting upon. This is also covering the provisions part given under Accounting Standard 29. Here the going concern assumption, this is covered under SA 570. Here you can relate, like I have given you example, two provisions are applicable in the given situation. One is the going concern assumption of SA 570 and second is the provisions given under Accounting Standard AS 29. Yes, two standards are applicable here, SS 570 going concern and then AS 29 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. This is how you can write your answer in the examination. As per AS 29 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets, a contingent liability is a possible obligation that arises from past events and the existence of which will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events not wholly within the control of the enterprise. For the future events that may affect the amount required to settle an obligation should be reflected in the amount of a provision where there is sufficient objective evidence that the event will occur. Further, as per SA 570 going concern, there are certain examples of events or conditions which individually or collectively may cast significant doubt about the going concern assumption. Where example has been given, a pending litigation or regulatory proceedings against the entity that may, if successful, result in claims that the entity is unlikely to be able to satisfy. This provision of SA 570 is attracted here. Well, this is the example. I'm just giving you reference here. This example you can find in your practice manual. The presentation pattern you can find in your practice manual. Another example. A company capitalizes interest on borrowings incurred for holding investment by adding the same to the cost of investment every year. Comment. Now this is a question. See, now two things are attracted here. Capitalization of interest on borrowings. This has been covered in AS 16. And then the valuation of investment. Which is covered in AS 13. Now two accounting standards are attracting here. This is how you can write your answer. Capitalization of interest. Investment are assets held by an enterprise for entering income by way of dividend, interest, rentals, for capital appreciation or for other benefits to the investing enterprise. As per AS 13, that is the accounting for investment. Cost of investment includes only the acquisition charges such as brokerage fees and duty. Further, as per AS 16, which is on borrowing costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, construction, or production of a qualifying asset should be capitalized as part of the cost of that asset. Now, what is a qualifying asset? You need also write down. Now, what is a qualifying asset? Qualifying asset is an asset that necessarily takes a substantial period of time to get ready for its intended use or sale. Assets that are ready for their intended use when it was acquired is not a qualifying asset. Therefore, such investment is not a qualifying asset. Thus, the interest cost of holding investment cannot be capitalized. This is the conclusion part. As you can see here, this is the provisions and explanation. Provisions and explanation. And this is the conclusion part. You can also write down the facts of the case. Another example. Mrs. PQR & Company has been appointed as the sole statutory auditor of a large company for year 2015-16, where till last year, Mrs. LMN & Company was also one of the joint auditors along with Mrs. PQR & Company. Mention the steps that should be taken by Mrs. PQR & Company before commencing such audit. Here, as you can see, PQR was a joint auditor along with Messrs. LM & Company in the previous year, but in current year, only PQR has been appointed. This is equivalent to non-reappointment of one auditor. Therefore, section 140 will be attracted here along with clause 8 of part 1 of first schedule, where communication with the previous auditor is required, and then the clause 9 requirement is also there. Clause 9, which is talking about the compliance of section 139, 140, 141 of the Companies Act. Here you can see section 140 of the Companies Act 2013 is attracted for non-reappointment of one of the retiring joint auditor. That is, in the given case, who is Messrs. LM&N Company, which is not reappointed in the given case. Therefore, section 140 will be attracted here in your answer. And then clause 8 and 9 of part 1 of first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, because here the communication with the previous auditor will be required, and the compliance of section 139, 140, 141, 142 will be applicable here. This is how you can write your answer steps. The reference of section 140 here. Section 140 subsection 4, where special notice is required, we need to write down all the provisions. These are the provisions of special notice given under section 140 subsection 4 along with the section 115. 115 is providing the details of giving of special notice. You need to refer like the quorum, number of members who should be given a special notice. These are the requirement of section 140. These are the requirement of section 140. And then you need to give the reference of clause 8 of part 1 of first schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act, which provides that a member in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he accepts appointment or a position as auditor previously held by another chartered accountant without first communicating with him in writing. Here, in the given case, like Messrs. PQR & Company is required to communicate with Messrs. LM&N Company before accepting such appointment as auditor. And then clause 9, which is talking about the compliance of section 224 and 225, the Companies Act 1956, which is now replaced with section 139, 140, and then 141 of the Companies Act 2013 in respect of such appointment. Now, this is the conclusion part. Messrs. PQR & Company is required to comply with all the above mentioned provisions provided under Companies Act and Chartered Accountants Act before commencing such audit. And before moving to this example, we will check if there is any online queries.
Yes, Divyanshu Chokhani. Thanks for your guidance, sir. Also, if you could throw some light on how to take up questions which are general in nature, like audit program for a cement manufacturer or a garment trading company, as have appeared in past examination. What should be key focus point? Yes, again a very good question in my opinion. This is definitely very good question. How to answer general type of question? In my opinion, if you look at the examination, if you look at the paper, say paper in auditing, then the whole paper out of 100 marks, 120 marks, at least 30-40% paper is general in nature. So identify those questions which are general in nature. No specific section is attracted of the company, that no clause is attracted out schedule, no essay is attracted, that is totally general. So 30 marks paper out of 120 marks, that is general in nature. Student, if you come across general questions like audit program, general audit points and so on, like these questions, what I say is, again your level of preparation will help you out to write such answers. What is the backup you have created in your mind? That is very important, I tell you. Your learning exercises, as I was telling you, that is very important. Learning was done by you. Chapter on company audit, chapters on company accounts, then professional ethics, definition part you learned effectively, then points, all points were covered effectively, then inner material in respect of balance chapter, you studied in such a manner that 40% could be reproduced. So having done so much of the effort, I tell you, I can assure you students, general type of paper, handling of that will not be a problem for you in that case, I tell you. So this is my general answer, but on specific, he has been asking how to answer. I just explain in more detail as the student is asking. Audit program for a cement manufacturer. Now, if his size is say 1000 crore company and I am there to write his program, cement manufacturing company, they are having large plants. They are not small unit or medium sized units. These are large plants. So this has to be kept in mind while writing the answer. So naturally my audit team will be a larger in size and audit program will be detailed in nature. So these aspects should come into my mind automatically while writing the audit program. So while writing the audit program, there are, think over some general points you should always bear in mind, like internal controls and internal audit. This is one of the points regarding audit program. Your team will check whether the internal controls are there, where the company is lacking in internal controls, whether internal audit is commensurate with the size, keeping in view the size and depth of the company. So one of the points is internal control, then accounting system. Another important point is accounting system. Then audit of purchases. How the purchases, who will be handling the purchase part, which assistant will be assigned which duty. This is all part of audit program. Then purchase, then you will cover sales. How much time? Again, in audit program will also cover how much time we will devote for particular, you see, for particular item, say sales, purchase, fixed assets, inventory. So these are the major, you see, areas where you need to prepare a more detailed audit program and also a comprehensive program wherein all things will be covered so that audit completion may get timely. I means the firm is able to complete in a timely fashion and audit is not delayed in any manner. So audit program, this is automatically coming out of your mind. This is not bookish I am writing. So if you write such answers in the manner I am telling you, I am sure you will get definitely good marks. So also you need to study. If you will study the audit program, what we have written in the book, we will gather more points from there also. And I tell you, in general questions, length of the answer should be quite adequate. Length should be quite adequate. Balanced length should be there. question should not be small, answers should not be very small or small, short answer will not do. You need to write a little bit lengthy answer. And one more important point I would like to answer in this respect also, that if you are answering, point wise answer will be given, and if you are writing a particular point, say audit program inspect of purchases, then write at least 10-15 lines on this account. Do not try to get conclude in hurry. So if you write only 2-3 lines, the examiner is about to think that he is in hurry, student is in hurry and has not answered in a proper manner. So you should also keep in mind this point also, this viewpoint, whereby your question should be well balanced, answer should be well balanced, so that you get good marks out of the marks allocated. Priti, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, sir, just you said you should, the student should not be in hurry to answer your question. If you are in hurry while answering your question, then the examiner will also be in hurry while awarding your marks. So please keep in that. If the question is asking like you have 4-mark question, then please write at least 1 page, 2 page answers. And if you have 6 marks question, then please write 2 to 3 pages answers, and only the relevant answers, not just copy paste a single line in 2 points, not just provide your answer in active passive voice. If you're writing, just I gave you example earlier, if there is question, please explain yourself, and in 1 point you are writing my name is ABC, and in second point you are writing ABC is my name, then this type of languages should be avoided in your answers. I hope this is clear to your students.
Yes. Another question Abhinay Shri is asking, sir, which topic should be given priority while doing revision? Yes, again a wonderful question. Which topic should be given priority? Now you are revising, and when you are revising, my priority will be on those chapters which carry sufficient weightage in the examination. For example, professional ethics, I will revise in detail. Company audit, I will revise in detail. Company audit, company accounts related provisions. CFS, company audit related, whatever the chapters, 4 or 5 chapters are there. Essays related chapters, because 30-40 marks paper is coming out of essays. So these 3 areas which I have told you will be my priority while revising the syllabus. And the balance chapters, I am not saying that balance chapters will not be in priority. This is not I am saying. So I am just prioritizing. I am just answering your question. Priti, what is your viewpoint on this?
Well, priority depends on the marking of question. Like there are certain questions which usually come in your examination, like professional ethics, which covers 16 to 20 marks. Then this should be secured by learning each and every clause of the schedules. And then you have the company audit part, audit reporting. These questions from these topics are mostly covered in your examination. Then this should be your priority for learning. First is the professional ethics, second is the company audit part, audit reporting part, and then the essays which are covering 40 marks at least in your examination. It's not like you are lefting over a particular topic. You need to cover all the topics, but you can just prioritize your learning, which I explained you.
There is no different viewpoint of Preeti also.
Yes.
So you should bear in mind, I think strategy should be the same. Yes, Khushbu is asking, how much weightage is given to language in audit paper? Yes, students, this is again a wonderful question I would like to answer. And this question has not been asked till now, if I could remember. What is the weightage given to the language in audit paper, or is generally conveying the answer sufficient? Yes, students, one thing I am sure, so far auditing paper is concerned, or law related papers are there. Specifically in auditing, I would like to say, this is a professional examination. You are going to be a chartered accountant. And after becoming chartered accountant, you need to do a great deal of drafting. Drafting of letters for banks, drafting of letters for income tax purposes, drafting of the appeals, drafting of letters for government departments. So a great deal of time is devoted on drafting, and if you are good at drafting, if you are good at writing, you occupy an important place in the organization. You occupy important position in the organization. Climbing up in the organization will not be difficult for you, I tell you. So coming back to your question, I would like your question in this context I have explained to you. Yes, student? Please remember, commanded language. My answer is commanded language is required while answering your questions. Not general language, general conveying you are using. No, commanding language. You should write commanding language. And you will be able to write commanding language only if you learn. So that is why my emphasis is always on learning. So learning give you such confidence, much confidence. Learning improves your drafting skills also. So you should enhance your vocabulary also, so that you are able to write in an efficient and effective manner. And commanded language, if you attempt your paper in a commanded language, you will get a different satisfaction, I tell you. So please remember, students, do not write poor language in the examination, because examiners generally do not like poor language. Command of language is very must. So English you have been studying past 10-15 years you have devoted on study of English language. So you should keep yourself in such a position that you are able to write commanding language. Just coming back to the PPT part.
Yes, example 5. Here is a question. Honest Limited has entered into a transaction on 5th of March 2016, which is obviously a near end, whereby it has agreed to pay rupees 5 lakh per month to Mr. Y as annual retainership fee for engineering consultation. Here, no amount was actually paid, but rupees 60 lakh, that is 12 into 5 lakhs, is provided in the books of account as on 31st March 2016. Your inquiry elicit a response that need-based consultation was obtained round the year, but there was no documentary or other evidence of receipt of such service. As an auditor of Honest Limited, what would be your approach? As you can see here, the company has entered into an agreement where consultancy will be provided by Mr. Y, but in actual, the auditor did not find any receipt, did not find any evidence of such receipt of such service, but the company has provided rupees 60 lakh in the books of account without paying any amount. Now what you see here, a fraud has been attracted. This case study is attracting a case of fraud which is covered fraud. which is covered under SA 240. And then just because it is a company, therefore section 143.12 shall also be attracted, and then a reporting under CARO will also be attracted here in the given case. Yes, following provisions are attracted for commitment of fraud, that is SA 240, which is on auditor's responsibilities relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements, and then section 143.12 of the Companies Act 2013, which is also on reporting of fraud, and then the CARO provisions, that is clause 12 of CARO 2015, which is on reporting of fraud by the auditor of the company. As you can see, 3 of the provisions are applicable to the given situation. Then you need to write all the 3 provisions, that is SA 240. These are the provisions given under SA 240 on the auditor's responsibilities related to fraud in an audit of financial statement, where fraud can be committed by management overriding the controls using such techniques as recording fictitious journal entries, particularly close to the end of an accounting period, and why the company would do so: to manipulate the operating results or to achieve any other objective. Keeping in view the above, it is clear that the company has passed fictitious or fake journal entries near year and to manipulate the operating results. Also, the auditor's inquiry elicited a response that need-based consultation was obtained around the year, but there was no documentary proof or any other evidence of receipt of such service. Therefore, it is not acceptable. This is a fact of the case you need to write while giving your answer. And this part is the provisions and explanation. Accordingly, what should be the step of auditor? The auditor would do the following approach. If as a result of misstatement resulting from fraud or suspected fraud, the auditor encounters exceptional circumstances that bring into question the auditor's ability to continue performing the audit, the auditor shall. What should be the procedure? The auditor shall determine the professional legal responsibilities applicable in the circumstances, including whether there is a requirement for the auditor to report to the person or persons who made the audit appointment, or in some cases to the regulatory authorities. Like if the government has appointed that particular auditor, then he shall report to the government also. He should also consider whether it is appropriate to withdraw from the engagement and where withdrawal from such engagement is legally permitted or not. And if he withdraws, then he shall discuss with the appropriate level of management and those charged with governance the auditor's withdrawal from the engagement and the reasons for the withdrawal. And if he determines whether there is a professional or legal requirement to report to the person who made the audit appointment, or in some cases to regulatory authorities, the auditor's withdrawal from the engagement and the reasons for such withdrawal shall also be mentioned. Now the provisions section 143 subsection 12, which is on reporting of fraud by the auditor, shall also be mentioned in your answer strictly. Just like here, as per section 143.12 of the Companies Act 2013, if an auditor of a company in the course of the performance of his duties as an auditor has reason to believe that an offense involving fraud is being or has been committed against the company by officers or employees of the company, he shall immediately report the matter to the central government within 60 days of his knowledge and after following the prescribed procedure. This is also a part of provision and explanation you need to give in your answer to the question. Furthermore, one more provision which was attracting to the given situation was reporting under CARO. The auditor is also required to report under clause 12 of para 3 of CARO 2015 if there is any fraud on or by the company has been noticed or reported during the year. Then the auditor has to report the nature and the amount involved in such fraud. Well, this is the last example I am giving you regarding checking which of the provision is applicable to the given case. Here, as you can see, Mr. Shah, he is a chartered accountant. He certified the financial statements of a company in which his wife is a director holding substantial interest. Here, the case is related to where the relative of the auditor is a director to the company in which he is going to audit, or he is going to be appointed as an auditor. Therefore, as you can see here, this is a company and the wife is a director. Which of the provisions shall be applicable here? Here, section 141 will be applicable. 141, and then professional ethics clause, that is clause 4 of part 1 of second schedule will be applicable here, along with the certain council guidelines. Yes, relative of auditor is the director of the company who is holding substantial interest. Therefore, these are the provisions applicable to the given situation. That is section 141 3F of the Companies Act 2013, which is on disqualification of auditor, and then clause 4 of part 1 of second schedule to the Chartered Accountant Acts, which is talking about expression of opinion, in which the partner or the auditor himself is holding substantial interest in the company. Then we have another council general guidelines, which is again on expressing of opinion. So please, students, you can see all, you need to track which of the provisions are applicable to the given case. Then you need to write all the provisions and then explain all these provisions, then give the facts of the case, and then the conclusion part, which is I'm doing here in all the question, all the examples. Yes, clause 4 of part 1 of second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 states that if an auditor expresses his opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise in which he, his firm or partner. Here, as you can see, the relative word is not used, in which he, his firm or partner in his firm has a substantial interest. Therefore, he is committing a professional misconduct. Just because the relative term is missing here, the Council General Guidelines 2008 has included the relative word. As per the Council Guidelines 2008, a member of the institute shall not express his opinion on the financial statements of any business or enterprise in which one or more person who are his relatives within the meaning of Accounting Standard 18 have either by themselves or in conjunction with such member has substantial interest in the said business or enterprise. Therefore, the person shall not express his opinion on the financial statement. Yet the council also emphasizes that the aforesaid requirement of clause 4 is equally applicable while performing all type of attest function. Now you have given the reference of clause 4, and then again you need to give reference of section 141 3F is also attract, because it is also attracting here in the case of a company. There is a further contravention of section 141 3F of the Companies Act 2013, which requires that a person shall not be eligible for appointment as an auditor of a company whose relative is a director or is in the employment of the company as a director or key managerial person. Here, all the reference of all the three provisions has been given in your answer, like clause 4, and then section 141 3F, and then the General Council Guidelines 2008. You need to write down all the three provisions and the fact of the case. This is the fact of the case, and this is the conclusion part. In the given case, like Mr. Shah, Chartered Accountant, has certified the financial statements of a company in which his wife is a director with substantial interest. Hence, this amounts to professional misconduct, which attracts clause 4 of part 1 of second schedule to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, and Mr. Shah shall have to vacate the office accordingly. Well, I hope I have given 6 examples on how to check, how to track which of the provision of the Companies Act 2013 or which of the accounting standard or which of the standards on auditing is applicable to a given situation. I hope this has cleared your doubt on tracking which of the provision is applicable.
Students, will tell you in the remaining time as to how to study the essays. Essay with the help of, this is the master essay, I tell you. Overall objectives of the independent auditor and the conduct of an audit in accordance with standards on auditing. This is the master of all essays. Now, in each and every essay, there is scope, there is objective. Now, coming to the discussion on scope of this essay. This essay establishes the independent auditor's overall responsibilities. Overall responsibilities when conducting an audit of financial statements in accordance with essays. Auditors' overall responsibilities when conducting an audit of overall responsibilities. Independent auditors, again independent. This is very important. Independent auditors. If I am talking of independent, independent means independent identity, independent entity. He should appear to be independent. I say both in mind and appearance, independence is required. So, auditor is an independent entity in himself, independent identity in itself. Only then he will come out with an independent opinion. So, if I want a neutral opinion, independent opinion, a clear opinion, unbiased opinion, then my auditor should be independent. He must not only be independent, he must appear to be an independent person. So this essay establishes the independent auditors. So the word independent is very important. There are, of course, many threats to independence. There are also threats to independence, no doubt on this. And independence has been well taken care of by the company audit also. Rotational auditor. Rotation of auditor basically is the concept envisaged in the Companies Act by virtue of independence. So independence is a state of mind also. Independence is a state of mind also. If I have decided to be an independent person, independent auditor, so I have to also act as an independent, appear as an independent. So this essay establishes the independent auditor's overall responsibilities when conducting an audit of financial statements in accordance with essays. So this essay is going to establish the overall responsibility of the auditor, independent auditor. So what would be as an auditor, what would be my overall responsibilities in accordance with, of course, in accordance with essays, while I am conducting an audit of financial statements. Specifically, it sets out the overall objective of the auditor. So, till now, the two words, if I am telling you in the first line, students, try to pick up the words. So if I am just recalling the scope of two words must strike in my mind, and those are overall responsibilities. And overall responsibilities of what? Of independent auditor. Specifically, now talking specifically, students, it sets out the overall objective of the independent auditor and explains the nature and scope of an audit, which is designed to enable the independent audit. Again, independent. You see the importance of independent auditor to meet those objectives. Now, it sets out the overall objectives. Overall objective of what? Independent auditor. And again, the nature and scope of audit designed to meet those objectives. And designed to enable the independent auditor to meet those objectives. So, students, overall objective of the independent auditor, which we'll study later on in this essay, it also explains the scope, authority, and structure of the essays and includes requirements establishing the general responsibility of the independent auditor, applicable in all audits, including the obligation. So, whatever, if we read out this paragraph one time, two times, three times, so this is trying to establish what is the overall responsibility of the auditor. That's it. So essays are written. This is the master essay, I tell you. If you study this essay, you are able to move forward and study the other essays also. So first, students, my advice is first you should study essay 200. Essays are written in the context of an audit of financial statements by the auditor. So in the context, essays, in which context the essays have been written? So this is explained by essay 200. In the context of an audit of financial statements, which auditor does. So they are to be adapted as necessary in the circumstances when applied to audits. So they are necessary. Nothing we are saying, nothing to learn, nothing to remember, just read out. Now, overall objectives of the auditor. In conducting an audit of financial statements, there are two objectives which the auditor is going to achieve. First, this is very important, I tell you, reasonable assurance. To obtain reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance in audit, auditor does not give an absolute assurance. He doesn't give an absolute assurance. He gives only a reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance is high level of assurance. This is high level of assurance. Reasonable assurance is not absolute assurance. So reasonable assurance, whenever reasonable assurance appears, two things should automatically come to your mind. That reasonable assurance is not an absolute assurance. It is not complete assurance I am giving. I cannot give because there is reason behind it. Students said the reason behind is because there are inherent limitations of audit that you studied at intermediate level. Because there are inherent limitations, of audit, I cannot give absolute assurance. I can give only reasonable, and that reasonable assurance is considered as high level of assurance. So, objective of the auditor is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and what is the objective of auditor? To obtain reasonable assurance. And this is not absolute assurance, this is only a high level of assurance, because much of the evidence is not conclusive evidence. Much of the evidence we receive in auditing, while we are auditing, we receive not conclusive. So that is why I cannot say I have got absolute assurance. So reasonable assurance is only a high level of assurance. To obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement. Free from material misstatement. So students, again important word is their misstatement. Now what is misstatement? Misstatement is misstatement is basically a difference. There is something which is misstated. So naturally misstatement is difference. Difference what has been said in the financial statements and what is required to be said in the financial statements. So difference of that is misstatement. What is required to be said and what I have said in the financial statement, what I have asserted in the financial statements, and what was required there, if there is any difference, that is misstatement, I tell you. So to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, and that material misstatement is whether due to fraud or error, and thereby it enables me as an auditor to express ultimate objective of the auditor. I am getting reasonable assurance and whether the financial statements are materially misstated or not due to error. So I will ultimately, the objective is to express an opinion on the financial statements. The auditor is required to express an opinion on the financial statements, whether the financial statements are prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. And second objective is to report on the financial statements. Now I will report on the financial statements and communicate as required by the essays in accordance with the auditor's guide. So this is a basic objective, students. Of course, you might have studied in the intermediate also. So this is the master essays, I tell you, master of the essays. You should, this will also help you in revising the basics which you have studied in the intermediate. In all cases, when reasonable assurance cannot be obtained and a qualified opinion in the auditor's report is insufficient in the circumstances, for purposes of reporting to intended users of the financial statements, essays require that the auditor disclaim an opinion or withdraw from the engagement where withdrawal is legally permitted. This is, we are discussing when reasonable assurance cannot be obtained and I am not able to express qualified opinion also. It is not sufficient, insufficient in the given circumstances for the purpose of reporting to the intended users, for example, shareholders, creditors, debtors. So essays require, what is the requirement of essays? They require to disclaim an opinion or withdraw from the engagement if it is possible. If it is possible and legally permitted. So following terms, you should understand a few terms which are appearing on the screen. You should understand these terms, learn these terms in an effective manner. Applicable financial reporting framework. So this is financial reporting framework adopted by management, and where appropriate those charged with governance in preparation, and that is acceptable in view of the nature of the entity, or that is required by law or regulation. So this is ultimately, it is financial reporting framework adopted by management in simple words. So this is the applicable financial, in case of companies, you all know accounting standard is applicable financial reporting framework. So the financial reporting framework adopted by management. Then we have fair presentation framework, is used to refer to financial reporting framework. Now financial reporting framework, accounting standards. Now fair presentation framework is used to refer to, if that is again a financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the requirements of the framework. Fair presentation framework requires compliance with the requirements of the framework and acknowledges, and there are two things which it acknowledges. To achieve fair presentation of the, it may be necessary for management to provide disclosure. Here the important word is disclosure. In first point, if you ask me one word to learn, that is disclosure beyond those required by the, accounting standards. If there are disclosures which are required beyond the framework. And in second point, acknowledges explicitly that it may be necessary for the management to depart from a requirement of framework to achieve fair presentation of the financial. Such departures. Now second point is departure from the framework. So in first point, there is disclosure in addition to which is required by the framework. And second point, departure from the framework. So if I incorporate the 2 points in compliance with the framework, I arrive at the fair presentation framework. That is called the fair presentation framework. And if I exclude these 2 points, then it becomes compliance framework. So compliance framework is used to refer to the financial reporting framework that requires compliance with the requirements of the framework but does not contain the acknowledgements. If I exclude these 2 acknowledgements, students, acknowledgement in respect of disclosure and departure, so I come to arrive at the compliance framework. So these are important terms which you as a CA final student must remember each and every time, I should say, like ABC. Another important term, student, is audit evidence. Yes, students, audit evidence. If you ask me one word about audit evidence, that is information, I tell you. Answer is information. Learn the definition. That is information used by the auditor in arriving at the conclusion on which the auditor's opinion is based. So audit evidence includes both information contained in the accounting records underlying the financial statements, both information contained in the accounting records and other information. So there are 2 things: information which is contained in the accounting record and other information. So audit evidence is information which is contained in the accounting records and includes other information also. Sufficiency of audit evidence. Sufficiency is the measure of quantity of the audit evidence, I tell you. If you ask me one word, This is the definition I was telling you to learn that definition. This is the definition you need to learn. Sufficiency is the measure of quantity and appropriateness is the measure of quality. One word is quantity in respect of sufficiency, and in respect of appropriateness, it is quality of the audit evidence. Audit risk is the risk that the auditor expresses an inappropriate audit opinion. So I am running a risk. If I am performing the audit, I am running a risk that I may, because it is the ultimate objective of auditing, I tell you, to express an independent opinion. And if I am not able to express that opinion, I am running that risk. So it is a risk that the auditor may express an inappropriate audit opinion. Then detection risk. Detection, what is? Means the procedures which are adopted by the auditor will not function and will not detect the misstatements which are contained in the financial statements. This is the detection risk. Then misstatement, I was telling you, it is the difference between what is stated and what is required to be stated. This is the misstatement. So students, in this manner you should learn the definitions, professional judgment, skepticism. It is a questioning mind, attitude that includes a questioning mind. So this is skepticism. So students, I have tried to explain to you how to learn this definition. Learn the definitions. Yes, students, hopefully you might have got the answers to all your questions. Students, this is the last lecture we have been delivering for May examination. In case you have any queries, any doubts, you are free to contact us through mail or telephonically. You are always welcome to contact us. And it is our privilege to answer your queries. You may contact us at rajeev.sachdeva@ici.in, karuna.bhansali@ici.in, or you may contact us also at 01203045 925. Thank you so much, students. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, student. Thank you.